Hi, I'm Constance Hochwartner, and I started playing the piano when I was 2 years old. I grew up in Vienna, Austria, which is a very musical city, and my family was also very musical. All of my siblings played instruments, and I remember when my older brother, he was 5 years old, started playing the cello. I was always standing right next to him and touching his bow or his strings, and he would get really nervous. And then he told my mom, please do something about her. She's so annoying. I can't practice. And that's actually when my mom took me to the local music school at age 2 and asked them if I could learn an instrument. And I decided for the piano, and I still love it and couldn't be happier with my job.
My name is Peter, and I grew up in northern Italy in the middle of the mountains in the Dolomites. And I grew also up in a very musical family. Everybody played an instrument in house, and I also wanted to make noise and just also find my own amplification system. Initially, I wanted to go with the drums. My mom wasn't too thrilled about that, and then I chose the trombone. That's hence the long hair. I always wanted to be a rock star. Now I get to travel the world together with Constance, and we play all over. And yeah, I've been playing since I'm 6 years old, so also for quite some time.
So I remember my first performance. I actually don't really remember what I played, but I remember sitting at the piano and I was so tiny I couldn't reach the pedals. And there's actually this box that you put on top of the pedals for like children to be able to use the sustain pedal. And I was even too tiny for that one. So the box was standing there and my feet were just like hanging on the stool and I was playing something. And I remember I had also my plushie with me, which was a little bunny on stage that was always sitting here on the piano together with me, so I'm not afraid when I was playing. And I just had the most fun. I was always so excited going on stage, and I remember playing for an audience always got me super excited, and I'm still enjoying it.
For me, it was very the same. As a little child, it was just a big pleasure to be able to go on stage, share what I practiced the last week or the last weeks, actually. And I remember not ever really being nervous, but just being really excited about being able to play in front of an audience. So I was never really scared, but just actually anxious to go out there and perform.
Peter and I started touring the world when I was in undergrad. We both were working at the Vienna Philharmonic, and that's actually how we met. And then we started touring while I was still finishing my undergrad, and I also then finished my graduate studies as well. And my most memorable performance together with Peter was last year around that time in Asia. We were playing in the Shanghai Oriental Center, and I got to play this huge organ with like 10,000 pipes, and that was just so much fun. The house was sold out, and we enjoyed every second of that performance, and I think the audience did too. And yeah, that's just my favorite moment.
For me, it's really hard to pick one special moment that we have shared because we have had so many. We've been on an 8-week tour throughout the US where we have shared so many musical moments, so many recitals, so many double concerto moments. It's really, really hard to pick. I simply am just thrilled to be able to have made my hobby into my dream job and get to do this together with Constance, being able to just perform in front of audiences around all over the globe. We play in Asia, we play in North America, South America, Europe. We have played in Australia together. So I'm struggling to find one special place. It's just been the entire ride has been super special. Audiences around the world are very, very different. Some cultures go to attend concerts and go there to relax. Some go there to be entertained. Some audiences go there to just simply hear what they usually listen to at home as well. So it varies all across the world. We usually take the energy that we receive and try to give back and feed off the audiences. So sometimes in Asia, the audience is very, very quiet, and we try to create an atmosphere in that they can really thrive and enjoy in. And then when we play in places that are more South America, or also southern parts in the United States, people are very, very on fire. Oftentimes we have to play 2 or 3 or 4 encores because they just keep wanting to be entertained. So audiences really, really vary.
We just finished our first rehearsal with the Valdosta Symphony and we felt very welcomed by the orchestra. We really enjoyed the vibe on stage with everybody. Howard was very welcoming. He had a discussion with us before the rehearsal where we touched some spots and we felt just very excited to get the opportunity to play with the orchestra, enjoy music making together.
This week is actually really, really special to the two of us. It's not often that you get to play pieces that are written for you. We commissioned a double concerto a couple years ago together with the Fort Worth Symphony, and this double concerto was then premiered together with the Fort Worth Symphony. Now we're so excited to give the Georgia premiere this week here. We're going to play a little snippet for you just to give you a little taste of what this double concerto by Kevin Day called Departures is all about. This is the first movement, a little snippet of it. It's very rhythmical and very energetic. So this whole consortium and this commission started when the International Trombone Festival was scheduled to happen in Dallas, Fort Worth at Texas Christian University in May, June 2024. And the host of this entire event was Professor Dave Bignotch. And he invited actually the two of us to be main artists for this festival and to be featured together with the Fort Worth Symphony. And he started the entire conversation around this commission. He asked the two of us if we were interested in it, and then the Fort Worth Symphony, and then he had a student composer in mind that was studying during that very period at Texas Christian University. And his name is Kevin Day, and he was also interested to collaborate. He had written a couple pieces before for soloists, mostly wind band, and I think this was one of his first big commissions together with symphony orchestra. So I think he was also very thrilled to be part of this commission.
So I actually really enjoy rock music. When I was a teenager, I always attended festivals like Rock in Vienna and like all the major big rock festivals in Europe. I really enjoy that kind of music. So before I met Peter, I was mainly listening to that. I always thought that there is a connection between rock music and classical music because actually on my last album, I recorded Thunderstruck by AC/DC, and I also recorded a pretty tricky Bach piece, the D minor toccata in fugue. And I still feel like Thunderstruck was so much harder to play on my recording just because like ripping off these guitar solos with my left hand was just like I had to practice so hard for that. So yeah, rock music is my main influence. But I actually listen to everything a little bit. I really enjoy listening to music outside of classical music, and I like to get inspired by that as well and inspire other people with my instrument, the organ or the piano, with covers of their favorite music.
I think a symphony orchestra or just a concert live is just a hits totally different than listening to it on iTunes or on Spotify or Apple Music or on YouTube. Being at a live event, just feeling the entire power of music, also the emotions that go through the artist and the audience, and the sheer power of volume of quiet and also loud playing. There's just so much variety in a classical concert, and I think the audience, if they have never experienced that, they're missing a totally electrifying atmosphere.
There's also so much a recording can capture. So a live performance is always so much more moving than a recording could ever be. Even if you listen to it with like the best amplification, it will never sound the way it sounds in a hall with all of these people there, the audience and the musicians.